Mark.
Can you feel that? The icy cold of space.
Yes. Yes. This issue of Absolute Batman is cold. Cold. We're gonna take a look at it right after this. Before we get started, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, the like button, notification bell, leave us a comment, do all those things. Wait until the end to leave us a comment. That way you'll at least know what you're commenting on.
Before we dive into this, Paul, I do have a serious question for you.
Yes.
What killed the dinosaurs? This episode can go down an entire rabbit hole of Mr. Freeze one-liners.
It really could. It really could. Although this Mr. Freeze is a little bit different than the one that we saw in Batman Forever. So
yeah, he doesn't have one-liners.
Batman and Robin, not Batman Forever. Yeah. Batman and Robin.
There's one-liners in both of those.
Exactly. Although there's there's a much more serious Batman Forever that's being shown in LA at the end of the month. So
yeah, I wonder how
Schumacher
it's going to be.
Yeah.
I look forward to the opportunity to see it down the road. I really do.
Me too. I really hope that they release it on
HBO Max.
Yeah, or on physical media, because we were talking, I think, on that week's end with both Joel Schumacher has passed away, and so has Val Kilmer now. So the interest may be right for Warner Brothers to cash in a little bit on it. So
yeah, and I really do hate this, insinuate cashing in on somebody's passing, but that's not what we mean. Just it just reminds people in times like that to go back and they relive and cherish the things and the good memories they had along the way. And Batman Forever, for so many DC fans, is a great memory. No matter what someone may think of it, it's still a good time film for so many people.
Exactly. And maybe cash in is the wrong thing, but when they're back in the zeitgeist, for lack of a better term, it's that's a perfect time to revisit those things.
Yeah, just look at how his brief appearance in Maverick, what that did for him. He was just talked about extensively for a while after that.
Right, exactly. But we digress. We're here to talk about Absolute Batman number 8. This is part 2 of the Absolute Zero little kind of interlude between the regular story and everything else that's going on. So I know you're not frozen.
Yes, it is exactly what you said it is. And we have a fill-in artist as well to mention at the front end of this. Scott Snyder is still writing, but Something Martin is doing the interiors. Seems to be the format across the Absolute titles. When we get to issue 7, our primary gets a break, and we have a fill-in for a couple of issues. And, where we left this story last was Batman investigating what's happening at Freeze Industries, because him and his friends, the Rogues, are missing their friend Matches Malone, who went to investigate something at the Arc M construction site, and all roads pointed back to the Freeze Corporation. So Batman went in hot and heavy to go investigate, and it ended with Mr. Freeze revealing himself as this monster created by his parents and their cryogenic research, and he attacks Bruce Wayne, not Batman, but Bruce Wayne. And that's right where this starts, with Bruce waking up being drugged through the hallways by this horrific, grotesque looking Mr. Freeze, which is Victor Freeze's son in the Absolute world.
Correct. Right. And then we get the huge double page spread. Oh my God. Talk about a title page,
which matches the last one as well. Right. It is different art, but they still did the same thing. The close up on the eyes, and you notice how we got 2 different color ones. It's like the transformation or something. I don't know.
Yeah. And we see.
Oh my God! I just realized something.
What?
It's upside down. It's Bruce.
Oh, there you go.
That's what it is. I saw the eyebrows.
The eyebrows.
That's definitely drawn like Bruce, and that's why it's halfway, because he did get touched by Freeze in the last issue, and we saw those little icy veins come over him. So yeah, that's dope. He's being drugged behind him. Maybe I don't know. That's cool.
Yeah. Although he calls him Pennyworth.
I think he assumes he's working for Alfred, is what it is, right?
Right.
All right, Mr.
Exactly.
Pennyworth or whatever your name is. I think he's like been investigated or the whatever it is that this Alfred is up to, the secret agent stuff. There's some overlap there.
Right. Bruce tries to fight back. He grabs Victor by the throat, but as soon as he does that, Victor puts his hand on his wrists, and that's when everything starts again, and that's when Bruce loses consciousness, ends up basically kind of like the bottle city of Kandor. It's the bottle city of Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, he
Um,
ends up in a cryogenic chamber along with a bunch
mm,
of old wealthy elites that have passed away and are in there for saving for down the road.
yeah, and Victor goes and tells him that he's about to really experience some horrible pain, um, including the fact that one of the first things you'll experience as you freeze is you'll start to burn because it throws off your regulatory system and you feels like you're burning, which did not know, but that's why a lot of people who die of hypothermia are found naked because because they ditched their clothes because the sensation that they're burning up. So, he tells them that, which is nice to tell him exactly, what it is that he's going to experience. But we have Bruce. What's going on with Bruce, interspersed with something that's going on in a very different place.
Yeah, we keep doing the there and here, not
Right.
necessarily the then and now we're used to, but we're doing the here and there in this issue. This whole time we're cutting back and forth between what Bruce is going through and before he leaves to actually go here, where he's talking to his friends. We saw it in the last issue. They kind of gathered to mourn the loss of Matches, and they're just chastising him for his decision making as Batman, to not telling him what's going on, to the fact that when you took on the Black Mask, you jumped out, not assuming you would make it out, and this is reckless. We're your friends, blah, blah, blah. And Croc is the one kind of giving him the one for Croc being the physically most dominant one out of the friend group, which I thought was pretty cool, getting the different distinct personalities of his friends group here.
Yep. There's kind of a melee going on between Bruce and his friends. Again, mostly between him and Wayland. We flash back for a single page to basically Bruce back in the cryogenic, basically experiencing what is kind of the burn, because everything that he's experiencing is basically in red. His eyes are bright red, so he's experiencing the burn of cryotherapy.
Yeah, it's slowly
Cryogenic.
filling up on him. Time's running out. Yeah, that was a great two-page splash. As it's filling, he's cutting back to the memories and the conversations with his friend. And we're seeing that cast that we were introduced to in the last issue where he was injured in his fight with Black Mask. He souped up his cast with some gadgets. So he is in this cryo tube with some gadgets.
Right. As the tube is filling up, he's also going back to that first day where his father basically was killed. The whole thing that happened at the Bat exhibit at the Gotham Zoo, and how his father basically ran back out to get Matches Malone to save him.
Which explains why out of this group of friends, Matches was the burnout.
Right.
Matches was the one that just couldn't get right. Everyone else seems to be living well, living fine, has their own thing. But Matches he was shot, completely shot out. And this whole time, he's held himself accountable for the death of Bruce's father, being that he couldn't keep up with the group of friends and get into the exhibit and kind of lock themselves away and stay safe. And the fact that Thomas had to come out there to get him and it cost him his life. He carried that burden through life and it affected him.
Right. That's interspersed with what's going on with his cast, which turns into actually his gauntlet. And he shoots one of his little bat symbols into the glass of the cryogenic chamber, and that basically then smashes. We find Victor Freeze Jr. Doing some more work, and out of nowhere appears the Batman.
Yeah, just kicks the door and doesn't even knock this guy. Boom, cuts in. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Yeah. Oh, Batman, huh? What are you doing here? I heard you like pain. And turns on a little blowtorch, and they get a great fight. Blowtorches his face, gets smacked around, throws his cape at him, talking to himself how he's not 100%. He's not even 50%. But his body's still shocked from the freezing cold, and he has to keep this guy off his game because he's fast, he's strong, he's this, he's that, and he is all those things. He starts tossing around Batman, throwing him around, and then Mr. Freeze decides to open up all the other cryo tubes of this unperfected technology, which we as the reader know that these people are not going to have a future that involves reanimating them. They're just in another way. So a bunch of monsters pop out and start attacking Batman.
Yeah, and Victor Fries actually mentions that at the beginning of the comic, where he says, all these people who had themselves cryogenically frozen think that they're gonna someday pop up, and they're gonna be all better at some point in the future. He said basically that's not gonna happen.
Not happening. Yeah, they're these people are destroyed, and Batman goes to defend himself against these White Walkers, and he takes a swing at the first one and completely separates its face. They
Yeah.
are brittle. They are not well put together. They are in a terrible way from this air quotes treatment. And while battling them, he figures out that they keep coming at him because they clearly want to end their own suffering, and they see this as a way to do it. And we know from the conversation that Victor has given us, the readers, what it's like to experience this and what it went through. They've all been in there aware and torturing this entire time. But then we flash back one more time to the group of friends throwing the match down and finally catching a hold, getting the strike, the little match toss that they were doing, and it lights up the area. And we see that there's a nice mural painted up on the brick wall of matches, kind of honoring him. And Bruce is thinking about this and kind of just throws all the White Walkers off of him and crashes out through the side of the building and just gets out of Dodge. It's like, I got to go.
Yep. And we see Victor kind of disappears. We don't really know where Victor ends up. But then we flash to the final page of the issue where we kind of get a what's happening next. We know what's coming after Absolute Zero is Absolute Bane. And we see Waylon Jones is basically drugged. There's a gentleman there who says, take him to Arch M, which is Arkham Asylum, obviously. And we can assume, at least I assume, that he's going to be the new Bane, I think.
Yeah, it says he's the perfect specimen.
Right.
And as we mentioned earlier, they showcase that he's the physical one
Right.
of the group. Like they went out of their way to show us a little skirmish with him and Bruce and everything. So that's crazy. He's going to be the abomination known as Bane.
Exactly. Funny you should say that, because that's the title of the next story arc.
Yeah, Scott Snyder got real cheeky with that one.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, Graham Nolan, right? Yeah, go ahead.
Graham Nolan, the creator of Bane, put out a little bit of commentary on his social medias when the first design was shown of Absolute Bane. He's like, this ain't for me. This looks like a total abomination of the character, but good luck, to each their own. I'm in full support of this. Scott Snyder rebuttals by naming the story arc after his comment, Abomination.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. But again, like to your point, Graham Nolan, although he felt that way, his big thing was, if you don't agree with me, buy the comic. Mm-hmm. Totally support buying the comic. So.
If you don't like my take, prove me wrong by buying the comic. I dare you.
Yep.
Yeah, he did a great way of turning around his take and pushing the comic. Like he's not against the book at all. But yeah,
exactly.
I mean, now we've seen more photos, we've seen more stuff, and it does look like something grotesque. It looks like a John Carpenter rendition of Bane with the what's it, like the body morph, whatever. And it's wild looking, dude.
Yeah, and I think I'm trying to think, as I read back, I think one of the things that he pointed out originally was that he felt as though the head was too small for the rest of the body.
Yeah, and then now the newer stuff, it looks even smaller, with some of the body looking like just a pile of just disembodied flesh with just a little head in there. I'm like, this is going to be interesting.
Exactly. But I can't wait to see it. Yeah, exactly. The little 2-issue interlude I thought was done pretty well.
Interesting. We just kind of leave Mr. Freeze where we find him, like the same place we find him, in control of his company, completely won the fight against Batman. Batman took a total loss. Has to lick his wounds and get out of there, barely with his life. So it was ultimately like, eesh, he's 1-1 now.
Yeah. Exactly. There you go. But another strong issue, I think. There really have not been any bad issues of any of the Absolute universe, from what I can.
Oh man, don't read Absolute Batman number 3 then.
Which one was that?
That was a bad issue for me. That was the Transformer.
Okay.
Batmobile, like,
yeah, I didn't think it was that bad, but it wasn't the strongest issue. But it didn't sync to some of the like
It's
things that
still a
we've
good
seen.
comic, yeah.
Yeah, exactly,
It's
exactly.
just up
So,
against itself, which is a hard chore, man. These things are
yeah,
hitting really, really well.
yep, still selling gangbusters, which is good. It's already up to Absolute Batman #1 is already up to a sixth print already. Fifth on Wonder Woman, fourth on Superman, the #1s. So, and all of the latest #1s are already onto a second print as well. So, people are still crying for them. So, keep it
Good.
up, keep it up. But that's going to be it for this edition of DC Comics Deep Dive. I am Paul. He is Mark.
But we are Legion.
Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment. Now you can comment and hit the
Yeah.
notification bell.
Now.
Now, now. Um, and then and speaking of now, you are now leaving to 20.